Ami Kozak, it is such a pleasure to have you on my show. Thank you so much for joining me.
Erin, a pleasure to meet you, a pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
You're one of the funniest men I have encountered, and yes, from a distance, absolutely. And I've worked with a lot of comedians. What is the basis, do you think, for your humor before I introduce some of it to my audience?
The basis, it's a very meta-philosophical question.
I'm trying to
Um,
sound smart, Ami. Come on.
yeah, yeah, I get it. I love geeking out on what kind of my angle is, but for a long time it was really purely about the funny, ever since I was a kid, doing impressions and things, getting that kind of immediate reaction. Impressions was sort of my early mutant superpower, so just being able to do someone else and become someone else, I would get this incredible reaction out of people. So I really stuck to that. And then more on the conceptual side, socially, I developed a pretty good sense of humor and a class clown element to making people laugh. And then post October 7th, I turned some of it into satire and used it as a weapon in that way, because I think with humor, what makes something funny is this crystallizing element of truth. What makes a joke funny is that it resonates. There's a truth that resonates, and the truth is ultimately incredibly powerful. So whether it's in the form of commentary, as you do, or in the form of jokes, it's that truth that I think really moves people. So.
I think you're absolutely right. Now I want to play. This is probably my favorite clip, and this is you as Bibi and Trump. So I want to play this.
All right, baby, I think we're going to take Syria, too.
Of course, have at it.
All right, we'll get some folks from Deal, New Jersey, and we'll settle it.
Sounds good to me.
That's why I call it the art of the deal.
Sure.
I was talking about New Jersey.
Sounds good. Okay, what can I have?
You want Montana?
Tucker?
No, the state.
Oh, the state. Okay, what do they have there?
It's a beautiful state. There's not that many people there, but there's great skiing, great mountains.
We could build an Israeli mall there.
You can build a mall.
We call it Montana Mamila.
Sure.
Montana Mamila, banana fana fafila.
Mamila. Melania?
Me, my Mamila.
Mamila. Great. What about California, too? Would you like California, too? It's a total disaster there under Newscomb, but you could take it.
There's already a lot of Israelis in LA, so.
Biebs, you could use your desalination technology. You could use that, and you could get all this water. There's so much water.
That's a great idea. And what about Canada?
Oh, for Canada, yeah, we could.
Why don't we go splitsies? Chetzi chetzi?
Right down the middle. That'd be great.
We make one part Canada, one part Canada.
I like that.
Oh, it's a cave.
I know a lot of Israelis travel to South America. You want South America?
Lamalo.
Done.
Ami, do you conceptualize it before you do it? Do you type out a script? Do you just go free for all and then edit it up? Is it all one take? Like, how do you put something like that together? Because it's I've watched it 30 times and I laugh the same every time.
Yeah, so process-wise, no, there's no scripting and writing everything out. That would just take every video forever. But once I have a concept, an idea, and I get into character, I just roll the camera on each of them and, imagine the conversation from one perspective and then have the conversation as Trump to Bibi, pretending he's there, and then do the same thing. And then in post, edit it all together and trim the fat to get a tight edit. But, once I'm in character, and we could talk about that, I could really talk about anything. But once I have the idea of, what's it like behind closed doors, Trump and Bibi? This whole idea playing off that amazing press conference where Bibi's like, I cannot believe what I'm watching. This is crazy. Unbelievable. So once that's happening and Trump's like, you want Montana? I think of the ideas as a stream of consciousness in real time. A lot of the impression-based stuff is improv, but it's with a certain concept that I've thought of that's funny.
You say behind closed doors, but we're kind of now being treated to these kind of things in real life, i.e. Zelensky, J.D. Vance, and Trump. What was your take in or out of character on that little exchange?
Well, I obviously saw it like most people, where I came in at that, the clipped part where it just seemed immediately tense. We found out later that there was a whole 50 some odd hour minutes of calm, normal, chatting and kind of the typical stuff. And then things kind of heated up. But all the clips that were going around were literally very tense from the get-go. So I just thought, wow, this is just unbelievable. I thought maybe they took it as an opportunity to just unload on Zelensky. So I think I made a video on that pretty much right away, which was this thing is there's nothing he could say or do right in this scenario. They're just pissed off. Maybe there's a lot of money wasted. He's like, Mr. President, can I please use the bathroom before we start the meeting? Please? You want to use the bathroom? Haven't you soiled yourself enough on this country? You've used enough of our resources. Now you want to waste our water. You're disgusting. I could slap you, you know.
I just have to make quick pee-pee before we... That's very disrespectful. Please. Excuse me, that is very disrespectful. You want to take a piss on our country, on American soil? We've been in meeting for hours. I can't hold it. Well, you're going to hold it. Believe me, you're going to hold it. The last time someone asked to pee in front of me, I was in a Russian hotel. And that was in Russia. That was before there were problems. Ah, too late.
Have you even said thank you?
So, yeah, it just seems so. That was the joke. I'm like, wow, this is just, they're just giving him a beatdown. I don't know, as far as my serious opinion about it, like, yeah, it's one of those things that, unlike in the Palestine-Israel conflict, if I'm really kind of ignorant about a situation, I don't want to take a strong moral stance because I know what that looks like in in my world when you start putting up flags before having any idea what's going on. Yeah. So I'm more curious about it before making any, moral stances, and I've just been following along from a admittedly ignorant distance, as opposed to in, the world of Israel-Palestine, where plenty of people are taking moral positions and looking very foolish doing so.
It's very good advice you give. Now, there's a fine line in comedy generally, right? And as I said, I did breakfast radio with Australia's probably most famous comedian for 4 years. And we would talk about this often. When you're just doing everyday comedy, there's a fine line. How do you not cross it because there's cancel culture, et cetera, et cetera. You're doing comedy during a war on the topic of this war. People are dying. How do you determine what is appropriate or what isn't? Or do you just know that this is respite that your people need and you're going to provide it regardless of whether or not people get annoyed at you?
Yeah, I think cancer culture is like a self-inflicted wound. If you let it win, it wins.
I agree. Yes, I say this all the time. You just don't accept it. See ya.
If you make something with goodwill, with the purposes and intention, humor is about intention. You don't always get it, but if you're intending to make people laugh and trying to do something, and it doesn't work, whatever, you know what you meant. The mob doesn't. The mob doesn't care. They want an apology so they can feel virtuous, not so you can feel redeemed. So it's never real. And if I were to apologize for something, I'd only do it if I meant it. And so I think at the end of the day, the way to combat cancel culture is with integrity. And if you have integrity and you mean either what you said in the joke or you mean what you said in any form of apology, that's fine, and then you're not canceled. But if you're doing it for the mob's approval, that's how you lose, because they're not there to approve it. They're there to destroy you. So as long as you don't cave to that kind of art pressure and give some manufactured artificial response, I regret my remarks, I misspoke, this was a learning, teachable moment. That's all like PR talk. So as long as you don't capitulate and give in to that, I think you can survive all of the cancel culture. And if it makes me giggle and makes me laugh, chances are a lot of people I've learned feel the same way. And there's a catharsis to being able to laugh at a shared thing that we all find true, whether it's an observation or just something kind of funny. That's sort of what funny is. You're sort of unlocking a little piece of the brain that's sort of tickling you. That's like, that is a way to see something that I have a sense a lot of people, once revealed to them, will connect with as well.
I can't think of a community of people more in need of respite and humor than the Jewish community, the Israeli community. I think you guys are a little bit similar, and I'm only just getting to know your community quite well. I wasn't really involved too much in it prior, but I think like Australians, when things are tough, we've got a very good sense of humor. We like to take the piss out of ourselves and out of a situation. Yeah. Are your biggest...
That's why we're so funny. Everyone's like, why are Jews so funny? Well, when you have a lot of this historically, you find a way to laugh through it. It's the only way to truly survive at the spiritual level. Like you can physically survive, but if your soul is to survive, you have to learn how to, roll with it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to know, have you ever heard from any of the subjects that you take on, or from anyone who said, look, he saw it, he thinks it's hilarious, but, that didn't come from me? Like, have you ever had feedback from anyone that you have played?
Oh, you mean like hitting my targets in terms of people I've impersonated?
Well, like, yeah, Bibi,
Yeah.
has he ever texted and said, "Oh, and I love that Gaza one"? Do you think he'd be up for that? You know, like.
I've had a pretty good track record of hitting my targets, and Jordan Peterson shared a bunch of videos on his Twitter. It's quite possible this is funny, It's like, well, so that's what I would say. He knows how to laugh a little bit, a little bit. So, yeah, Jordan Peterson has shared me on Twitter, and one of the first guys I used to do, Gary Vaynerchuk, which is an early online guru from VaynerMedia. I opened the VCon conference with him. It was a true TikTok success story. I did Prince Harry for a while, and like I got messages that the staff at Buckingham Palace were like, "We love your videos."
Can you give me a little bit of Harry? Give me some Harry.
No, that's disgusting. I would never do that because I love my brother and I love my family. But why is your shirt blue and not black in solidarity? That's disgusting, Erin. It's unconscious bias. I wear black and only black in solidarity with Meghan. But what you're wearing is disgusting. And it's because you're white and it's unconscious bias. And I love my brother and I love my family, but it's hurtful.
So I got a message from the staff of Buckingham Palace that were like, "We love your videos." And yeah, shares and things like that. Yeah. I've hit my targets.
I think, like,
Not
Donald
Bibi
Trump
yet
would have a
directly,
great-
but
I assume that, I don't know, but I think Donald Trump would have a great sense of humor. I think he would find them very funny.
He would. Oh, this guy. He's probably better than anybody except for me. Not bad. Really not bad. Very close. Very close.
Okay, can I ask you? I'm almost too scared to. Maybe I'm not worthy. Can you take the piss out of me? Can you do me?
The relationship there, I kind of have to like get into that accent. It's tricky, but
Wait, I'm not the Bush Tucker man.
I don't know Bush Tucker, man. It's hard. Australian, it's hard to not curse because you guys have such like the way with the language. You say whatever. I go in and out of it.
Actually,
It's like everyone makes fun of that. No, but like it's disgusting. Like the relationship
No, it
there.
is.
I can
It
kind of.
is.
Yeah, it is. It really is. It's like yeah.
it's
I
hard
don't
to
under-
try and sound classy as an Australian. It's
Yeah,
really
you guys
hard.
got a lot of that. Like, it's disgusting what's happening.
yeah. After a week or so in Australia.
Who love it.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
happening? Believe you me.
Oh, I
But
know.
Vast majority. What is next for you? Will we see? Like, is it like Will Ferrell? Like, who would, if you, like, 5 years time and things continue on this incredible trajectory because you're being noticed by all these incredible people and you're brilliant at it. What is the ideal place for you to be in 5 years?
Prime Minister of the Holy Land.
No, I am performing all over. I just was in Africa doing some stand-up. I'm all over this country doing stand-up. Having some chats with people down under to come down and do some performing as well. So my live shows you'll start to see more of me out performing. I'm doing a lot of stand-up. And yeah, I'd be traveling to Israel a lot more. I mean, post October 7th, I've gotten connected a lot with a lot of people there.
Yeah.
And I look forward to performing there, visiting. I have family there as well. So definitely be seeing me out there performing for, meeting people in person and not just on the phone. That's always a really special thing. Yeah. And, I also do music. I perform in a band called Distant Cousins, and we just released our first sort of Jewish, and we've done secular, non-Jewish music for a long time, just like pop music, indie folk pop, but we just released our first both Hebrew English hybrid record, so I'll be making some more music in that regard. And yeah, you'll be seeing a lot more of me. I have a podcast called Ami's House. We've been talking a lot about anti-Semitism and Israel and comedy and all the things that I'm involved in. So I hope to get that more out there and continue doing what I'm doing and growing the audience and reaching all my targets.
That is amazing. Tell me where people can find you. So you just mentioned your podcast. So is it socials? Is there a website?
Yes, I'm on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter at Ami Kozak, at Ami Kozak Official on Instagram, and Ami Kozak on Twitter, and Ami Kozak on TikTok. My band is called Distant Cousins. My podcast is called Ami's House, and you can find me all there. So I look forward to seeing everybody.
You are amazing. And in all seriousness, over the past year and a half, I've been to Israel, I've done a lot over the world within the Jewish community. And if one more person comes over and shows me one of your clips for a secret moment of respite and giggle, if I had $1 for every time, I'd be a billionaire. It's providing the most incredible respite, relief, and a much-needed laugh to so many people. So thank you for the incredible service you are providing.
I have to say the same thing back to you. Your clips were sent to me, and I have to say, in a world where we've seen so much, not only evil that has been perpetuated, we've seen so much silence in the face of it, so much apathy in the face of it, so much confusion in the face of it for no apparent reason. It's mystifying to the normal, good-hearted, decent person. I think this work that you've been doing in Speaking Out represents, I think, a larger majority than people realize, because if you spend time in the algorithm, in the deep, dark spaces of the online world, you'll get a sliver of a nasty, loud minority. And I think there is a majority out there that is sensible and sees what we see. So I appreciate you representing on behalf of them. And hopefully there's a lot more of you than there is of them.
I think you nail it. I think I'm one of the loud voices of the silent majority. I think there's plenty more. So thank you, legend. You're amazing. And hopefully I get to meet you in real life soon.
I'll hope to come soon.
Okay, so you're gonna feel a little bit of pressure, okay?
Excuse me, don't tell us what we're gonna feel. Don't tell me what we're gonna feel. You don't have the cards right now.
I'm so sorry. I just want to know.
Excuse me, don't you dare put pressure. I put the pressure. You don't have the cards. I'm canceling lunch.